Your body screams. Your mind screams. You feel you are dying. The room spins. Your heartbeat pounds like a drum in your skull, and every breath feels like it could be the last.
But here's the question. Are you really dying? Or is your body playing its most terrifying trick? Science has an explanation, but so does experience. And tonight, we put both to the test.
Stay with us, because what feels like death might actually be a window into the deepest secrets of the mind and of the soul. Darius was just like anyone else. Morning coffee, endless emails, late-night thoughts he never said out loud. Life moved forward, ordinary, predictable, until it didn't.
One night, out of nowhere, his body betrayed him. Heart racing out of control, breath shallow, a cold sweat dripping down his back. He thought, this is it. I'm dying.
But the story didn't end there, because that moment, what felt like the end, was only the beginning. The beginning of a journey through body, mind, and the very limits of science. In that instant, Darius's body went to war. His heart didn't just beat, it thundered. His chest locked tight as if invisible hands were squeezing the air out of him. Every nerve fired, screaming the same message: danger, now.
Science calls it the fight or flight response. Adrenaline floods the blood, muscles tense, pupils widen. It's the body's emergency system designed to save you from a tiger. Except Darius wasn't facing a tiger. He was facing himself.
It's like your body is a rocket, all engines firing, ready to escape the atmosphere, but your mind is trapped in the cockpit, powerless to steer.
Blood rushed to his limbs, preparing him to run. His skin turned cold as energy drained from his extremities to fuel the core. The brain lit up like a storm, surging with electricity. And yet, there was nowhere to go, nothing to fight, nothing to flee.
For Darius, every second felt longer than the last. Was this a heart attack? Was this death? Or was it something else? Something his body knew before his mind could catch up? Science does have an answer, or at least part of one. When your body thinks it's dying, your brain unleashes a chemical storm. Dopamine surges, serotonin spikes, cortisol floods the system. Endorphins try to mask the pain, while adrenaline screams, run, survive, fight.
Different regions of the brain join the chaos. The amygdala, the seat of fear, roars awake. The prefrontal cortex, normally your voice of reason, shuts down, leaving panic in charge. And the temporal lobe, often linked to spiritual visions, can spark hallucinations so vivid they feel like revelations.
In plain words, your brain can mimic dying without your body ever being in real danger. It's a simulation so convincing, your mind can't tell the difference. Like a fire alarm blasting in the middle of the night. Even if there's no fire, you'll still run for your life.
But here's the twist. If the brain can fake death, if chemicals and neurons can conjure the sensation of leaving your body, then how do we separate illusion from truth? When Darius felt himself drifting beyond, was it just biology or a glimpse of something greater?
And that's the question science wrestles with, because the same surge of chemicals that explains panic also mirrors the descriptions of near-death experiences around the world.
So what do you think? Is it just chemistry? Or does the chemistry open the door to something more?
Darius swore he felt himself leaving his body. He saw the room from above, his own chest heaving, his hands clutching at nothing. Time slowed, stretched, shattered. Seconds unfolded like hours, and he wondered, is this what it feels like to die?
Mystics would call it the soul stepping out, preparing for a journey beyond the flesh. They speak of tunnels of light, loved ones waiting, a sense of cosmic peace, a rehearsal for eternity.
Science, of course, offers a colder script. Hypoxia, lack of oxygen to the brain. Neurochemical surges painting false visions. Electrical storms in the temporal lobe. To the scientist, Darius wasn't leaving his body. His neurons were just firing too much, too fast.
But here's the catch.
what do you do when the scientific explanation sounds exactly like the mystical one? Out-of-body visions, voices, the tunnel of light, they're all found in lab reports and ancient texts. So ask yourself, are these visions illusions created by a desperate brain, or translations of something our senses cannot fully perceive? If millions of people across centuries see the same light at the edge of death, is it just coincidence or evidence?
And maybe, just maybe, science and spirituality aren't at war here. Maybe they're describing the same event, just in different languages. One speaks in chemistry, the other in eternity. And then, as suddenly as it began, relief. The storm faded. The pounding heart slowed. Breath returned, shaky but steady. Muscles released their grip. For Darius, it felt like resurrection.
Science explains this shift through the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's built-in brake pedal. Heart rate decreases, adrenaline subsides, blood flow stabilizes. The body whispers, "You're safe now."
But for Darius, it wasn't just biology. It was like waking from the edge of nothingness. One moment he was certain of death, the next he was tasting life with more intensity than ever before. Even the air felt sacred.
Doctors will tell you it's normal, a feedback loop. Panic peaks, then collapses. But if you've ever been there, you know it doesn't feel normal. It feels like crossing a border you can't name, only to stumble back into your body.
And here's the paradox. Was the body calming down, or was consciousness choosing to stay? Was it recovery or a warning?
What Darius learned is simple and terrifying. Your body can take you to the edge of death without killing you. And unless you understand what's happening, fear will always be in control.
But knowledge changes everything. Understanding that a racing heart is just adrenaline, that distorted time is the brain under stress, that the crushing fear is a storm of chemistry, you start to see the difference between dying and feeling like you're dying.
Science doesn't diminish the experience. It doesn't make it less intense. If anything, it shows how powerful your mind really is, that the line between reality and illusion is thin, and your body can convince you you've crossed it.
And maybe that's the real gift. Once you know the mechanics, you're no longer a prisoner of fear. You become curious. You start to ask, if my mind can simulate death, what else can it show me? What else lies beyond the threshold of panic?
For Darius, the lesson was clear. Fear didn't own him anymore. Understanding did. And that shifted the entire way he saw his body, his mind, and even the mystery of death itself. Darius's story is not unique. Across time and culture, countless souls have stood at the same threshold, feeling their body collapse and their consciousness drift away.
Saint Teresa of Avila once wrote of a moment where her body felt pierced by fire, her breath frozen, her soul leaving her flesh. To the church, it was divine ecstasy. To science, perhaps hypoxia. But to her, it was both death and union with the infinite.
Centuries later, ordinary people described the same sensations. A mother in New York wakes in the night, certain her heart has stopped. A miner trapped underground in Chile recalls time slowing as he gasped for air, swearing he felt himself floating outside his body. A soldier on the battlefield, struck by panic and blood loss, remembers looking down at his own body as if it weren't his anymore.
And the most astonishing part? Their words overlap. The light, the peace, the terror, the sensation of watching life from a step outside. From saints to strangers, mystics to skeptics, the language is the same.
So ask yourself, how do so many voices, separated by centuries and belief, tell the same story? Is it all just chemistry? Or is there truly a door we all brush against when the body screams, "This is the end"?
And maybe the real question isn't whether it's real or imagined, but why these moments change lives forever. People return with less fear, more purpose, a deeper sense that death is not the enemy, but a teacher.
Science often refuses to call these moments anything but panic. If your chest tightens, your breath races, your skin turns cold, they'll write it down as anxiety, stamp it in your medical file, and move on.
But what if anxiety isn't always just a malfunction? What if in some cases, it's your body brushing against the same threshold Darius felt, the line where life and death meet inside your perception? Think about it. When you panic, your heart races like you're running from danger, even when you're sitting perfectly still. You feel you're suffocating, even as oxygen floods your lungs. In that moment, your body is telling you you are dying. And yet, you're not.
Millions live with this contradiction every day. They're told it's just anxiety. But what if it's more? What if it's the body's raw awareness of its own fragility, a rehearsal of mortality triggered by a nervous system that feels too much?
And here's the paradox. What feels like death could actually be a sign of deeper perception, a sensitivity to the invisible dialogue between body and mind. Anxiety may not only be fear, it may be the body's way of showing you how thin the veil between life and death really is.
So the question is, do we medicate it, silence it, ignore it? Or do we dare to ask what this expanded awareness is trying to teach us?
Darius came back from his brink with more than survival. He came back with questions. Questions he still asks himself and now asks you. When your body screams, will you drown in fear or will you learn to listen? When the mind says you are dying, is it a lie? Or is it a doorway to deeper awareness?
He discovered that fear didn't own him anymore. Instead, he learned to see anxiety not just as an enemy, but as a messenger, a signal that perception was widening, that the veil was thinner than it seemed.
And maybe that's the lesson. If you feel your heart racing, your breath tightening, your body convinced you're on the edge, don't assume you're broken. You might just be closer to the truth of your own fragility and your own strength than ever before.
So if you know someone who struggles with anxiety, like this, share this video with them. They may not realize what they're feeling has been lived by mystics, saints, soldiers, and ordinary people alike. They may need to know they're not alone.
And now, I want to hear from you. If you've ever felt this, panic, near death, the body collapsing but the mind awakening, describe it with just one word. Write it in the comments. Maybe your word is fear. Maybe it's awakening. Maybe emptiness, fire, freedom, or even rebirth.
Those words aren't just comments. They're signals to others walking the same path. Proof that what feels private is, in truth, shared. So give this video a like if it made you think deeper. Subscribe to The Quantum Soul because Darius's journey isn't over, and neither is yours. And right now, 2 more doors are opening on your screen. Choose the one that calls to you most and step further into the mystery.